to Radio Vision Network. This is Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar. I'm Carol Moore from Whitebriar Bed and Breakfast in Edgewater Park, New Jersey. But for this show, I use a television persona, and I call myself Whitebriar. Whitebriar is the name of my historic home that is 300 years old, and I just thought it was a lot more interesting. Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar. I thought maybe Camp with Carol Moore would be a little boring. So I am Carol Moore, alias Mrs. Whitebriar, and here we are today for the Ben Franklin Stamp Club. And this is a way that we teach children history without them knowing they're learning. So parents, you may watch as well, because what you're going to learn, you can be interactive with your children no matter what age. And we always open up the Ben Franklin Stamp Club by banging the gavel. This stamp club has now come to order. Our latest president of the Stamp Club is Sydney Matusiak from Burlington, New Jersey. She would do this very well. And then she would explain that this is a little figure here of Ben Franklin. Why do we call it the Ben Franklin Stamp Club? And why do we have a silhouette here of Ben Franklin? It's because he was the very first Postmaster General here in the New World, known as the United States. And if you will send me a self-addressed stamped envelope, just send it to Whitebriar in Beverly, New Jersey. 08010 is our zip. It'll get to us. And I will in turn send you a bag of stamps for you to start your stamp collecting. And all you do is take this handful of stamps, put one by one in a little pot of water, and put it stamp side down. The ink on the stamp weighs more than the glue on the back. So put it face down in the water, let it soak enough till you can peel off the stamp, dry it on a paper plate, and then organize it in your stamp book. Here's my stamp book over here. I have a section for flowers, a section for animals, a section for historic people, historic houses, and you can do the same and watch our show every time. Now, I went down to the post office yesterday, and if you can see these, this is exactly what I found. And these are 20 pumpkin faces. Now, every one of them is different. Some have smiley faces, some have goofy eyes, some have triangle eyes, some have teeth. And these are your postage stamps. And you can go down to your post office and ask for some postage stamps as well. And then send them to a friend and have the friend save the postage stamp for you so that you can put it into your collection. When you buy a stamp at the post office, you get it in a visqueen envelope. That's what this is. And the reason they put it in this envelope is so that the postage stamp, if it's a damp day, does not get wet and stick to. And I keep these visqueen envelopes and put them in my stamp collection so that I have them safe and sound. Now, we're talking about pumpkin stamps today. We're going to see some pictures, and I'll tell you what they are. For our first pumpkin stamp, which one are we going to put up? Oh, this is the spooky one. This is with a black crow. A black crow in America has always been an omen that is a negative omen. It means something bad's going to happen. But that's not true in the Irish culture. The black crow is the Irish symbol of good luck, and my husband is Irish, and we do have a black crow painted on one of our windows, one of our stained glass windows. The next stamp this is a really, really good one of a pumpkin. Isn't that a beautiful pumpkin? And yes, you could buy these at the postage stamp at the post office, or you could go to a stamp collector's catalog and buy them. They cost a little bit more. It's always good to get them firsthand. And our next pumpkin, this shows you the different colors that pumpkins are a gourd, and a gourd comes in many, many colors. And orange just happens to be one of them. Sometimes they have a smooth skin, sometimes they have a ripply skin, sometimes they even have a skin that looks like they got chicken pox bumped all over them. And our next stamp, oh, this is the goofy one. Every year the postage, the U.S. Post Office does something goofy, whether it be a cartoon at a Christmas time stamp or a cartoon at a Halloween stamp. But this one is the goofy one, because some people, when they carve their pumpkins for Halloween, they do carve goofy faces. And what do we have, another one here? Of course, you see a full moon. Last night the moon was so bright it was called a harvest moon because it was so orange. And in the face of the moon, you can actually see a face. You see two eyes and a nose, but we know they're not really a face. There is no man in the moon. Those are craters on the moon that we have learned about, but it does look really cool when you look up into the skies. And having a witch fly across the moon, that's supposed to be the ultimate for Halloween scaries. And the next one, everybody has a black cat. Well, you should have a black cat. Black cats are beautiful. Their fur is so shiny and bright, and their eyes are usually green. Sometimes they're yellow, but usually green. So this is a really good stamp that has the cat's eyes on it. What's our next one? All right, this is another one of the smiley pumpkins for Halloween. And a third one. That's our last one. Okay, very good. And that will be it. I recommend you go down to the post office and buy yourself some Halloween stamps. Mail them to a friend and tell the friend to save the stamp for you. Mail them to your grandma. She'll always save them for you. And that's it for Radio Vision Network's our segment on stamp collecting here at the Ben Franklin Stamp Club. And we'll close that out. Don't go away. We'll be right back with some more Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar.
Today's show is sponsored by Hargrove Demolition, your demolition experts. Hargrove is a family-owned and operated business right here in the southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hargrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hargrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hargrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at purinabeyond.com.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
And we're back with Radio Vision Network, Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar. I'm Carol Moore from Edgewater Park, New Jersey, and we're talking pumpkins today. It's going to be time for all of you to carve your pumpkins. And I thought you should know a little bit of history about the pumpkin. The pumpkin is actually a squash, and they first found evidence of pumpkins 1,000 years, 5 to 10,000 BC, that's before Christ, and they found pumpkin seeds in Mexico. Now the Greek word for pumpkins is P-U-P, pup-on, pup-on, P-U-P-O-N. Now, I don't know how pup-on became pumpkin, but you're going from a French dialect into an English dialect, and this is what is called a pumpkin. And it's funny because in Latin the word pumpon means a large melon. So actually pumpkins are not part of the melon family. They are actually part of the squash family. They come in many, many colors and sizes. We have a crooked fox, okay? And you can see them there, all just like this one. Pumpkins are everywhere this time of year. It's the third week of October. If we don't do it now with pumpkins, we won't be doing it. Our next picture of pumpkins shows that it comes in all different sizes. You can have the taller pumpkin, which I call an uppy pumpkin, and they're excellent for making a face if you're going to make a round mouth that you cut open and make him like he's a screaming pumpkin. The one in the front, the white pumpkin, yes, it's still a pumpkin because they are the same family. And then, of course, one on the smaller one with a hook up here to hold on to it. That's just like mine. They would be good if you're making a smiley face because a smiley face goes sideways and you don't need that uppy strength. And the next picture is, oh yes, these are more squash. See how they're yellow and green? You say that doesn't look anything like an orange pumpkin, but they are the same family, and they are called gourds, or a native of the squash plant. And if you let those little green and yellow squash with a nice curly handle, if you let them dry over the winter, like use them to decorate for Halloween and for Thanksgiving, and then go in the basement and sit them on top of the heater. The heater has enough heat there that it won't cook them, it'll just dehydrate them over the winter season. And in the spring, when you come back, you can shake them and the seeds will be loose and dried, and you'll make rattles with them. And they're very, very good. And what is the next picture we have? This is what the squash originally looked like. See how elongated it is? It's not orange at all in color, is it? Sometimes we call the summer squash, the zucchini, and the yellow crookneck squash, those are eaten because in the summertime because they have thin skins. They do not keep over the winter. A pumpkin like this or a gourd with a hard skin will keep all winter long if you put it in a cold spot. One time I had a pumpkin and I kept it in a cold spot, and when I went to cut it open, the shell, the outside skin, was as hard as plastic. And so it was February when I cut it open, and there was a big pile of snow out back. So I cut the pumpkin in half, hard as it was, and laid it into the snow, and everybody came and said, "You have pumpkins growing in the snow?" I played a trick on a lot of people that year. What other pumpkins do we have here? Oh, this is fifth generation pumpkin growers. These girls, their daddy, their grandpa, their great-grandpa, they all raised pumpkins. And I thought that was really cool because pumpkins are really fun and easy to raise. Next one. And this again is a book. If you think what I've told you about pumpkins is interesting, you should go and get this book at the library, all about squash and gourds and pumpkins. There is so much information in there, so many recipes that you can cook them. It's really, really wonderful. Now, this type of pumpkin, okay, was used to eat, and they cut the top off, scooped out the insides, and then as long ago as Indians, they took eggs and milk and spices, mixed them up, dumped them right into the pumpkin, then put the lid back on and cooked it in the coals of their fire. And when they, 2 hours, 3 hours later, they took the lid off and they had a pumpkin pie inside the pumpkin. So if you want to try that, you can do that too. I've seen where they cut the lid off. You get, maybe you have company coming for dinner for Halloween. You have maybe 4 pumpkins this size. Cut the lid off and put in there a nice cream of pumpkin soup inside the pumpkin. And then take the pumpkin, all 4 of them, and put them inside the oven at 350 degrees average temperature and let them cook for an hour or an hour and a half. When you come out, you put 1 pumpkin on everybody's plate, and that's the bowl. the pumpkin acts as the soup bowl, and they eat the soup and then they scrape out the soft pumpkin and eat that as well. All right, we'll be back here with Radio Vision Network, Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar, telling you some more about pumpkins. Come back very soon.
Sub some sizzle. This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
And we're back with Radio Vision Network's Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar, and we're talking about pumpkins. And we have a nice draped doll here. She's a witch, representing Halloween as well. But then, of course, whenever you think of Halloween, you think of a rat or a mouse. And so we're going to do our craft today for a little mouse, a gerbil, which is a member of the rodent family along with mice. And Mr. Moore went out to buy orange lights to put in our windows on the front porch at Whitebriar. And these are the boxes that are left over. Now, normally, if these were regular light bulbs, I would cut a couple windows and doors in here to make a nice tunnel for the mice or the rats in my life. But I don't have to because the little circle is already cut. So throw nothing away. Remember our rule, reuse everything. Even though you bought it for one purpose, when you're finished using it for that purpose, recycle it, use it again, and all you're doing is you're going to tape all these light bulb boxes together, flip it over, tape it again, and then put it in your gerbil's house. Your hamsters will fit, gerbils will fit, guinea pigs will probably be too fat unless they're babies or little young guinea pigs. And put that in their house by letting them chew on the cardboard. Remember what cardboard is. Cardboard is trees that are ground up and made into paper or hard paper, which is cardboard. okay? And by rodents have to chew constantly or their teeth continue growing. And when a rodent's teeth continue growing, they're supposed to be nice and chopped like this. But when you don't give them something hard to chew to wear down their teeth bend in. And then they starve to death. And you say, I'm putting the food out. I don't know why my animal is starving to death. And here it is. He can't eat because his jaws, his teeth are not being worn down. So by giving him things like this, which is number one, a recycle project, but number two, it gives him a place to hide and it gives him something to chew on. Toilet paper rolls are also excellent for this. So always recycle, recycle. When you're doing your pumpkins, all right, make sure that you save the seeds. Cut out the top, take it off, scoop out the seeds, and sit there at the table on a plate and pull the seeds away from the membrane. Put the seeds on a cookie tray and roast them in the oven on low. Put some salt on them while they're still wet. Pumpkin seeds are excellent in fiber, in vitamins, in minerals, and they really taste good as well. So with pumpkins, we found out that we're actually different shapes, different sizes, and different colors. And the Indians used pumpkins, and guess what the Indians did? They took their pumpkins or their squash and they planted them together with corn and beans. And they gave it a nickname. It's called the sister tradition. Because the corn on the cob, the corn grows up straight like this, okay? The beans wrap around the stalk and hang their little beans down from the corn stalk, and the squash covers up the ground below with these great big squash leaves that keep moisture in for the roots and keep the sun off to keep it nice and cool. So that's called the three sister tradition that was used with squash, corn, and beans. Also pumpkins are very good medicinally. Go on your internet and punch in medicinal properties of pumpkins. You'll be amazed. They're so high in vitamin C. We have a pumpkin toss coming up 2 Saturdays after Halloween every year. We ask you to save your pumpkins, ask your neighbors to save your pumpkins, and bring them out to Whitebriar for the homeless animals. You see, pumpkins are so high in vitamin C, we throw them into the field, and the animals eat them and get lots of vitamin C so they don't get sick over the winter. But they also, because the skin on a pumpkin is so thick, it cleans their teeth so they don't get tooth decay. And that's always the 2nd Saturday after Halloween at Whitebriar in Edgewater Park, New Jersey. Come on out, bring your pumpkins. We give prizes. We set a big water trough in the middle of the field, and we see who can make a pumpkin go into the water trough. That's for accuracy. But then we also make pumpkins for distance, and we give you prizes for all the distance. The Indians often roasted the seeds and roasted the pumpkin as well. They dried the pumpkin so that in January and February, when they didn't have any pumpkin, they could eat it dried food, just like raisins. Raisins are grapes that are dried. And so we eat the raisins to get lots of vitamins and nutrition because we'd rather have the fresh grapes, but it's now wintertime, we don't happen to have the fresh grapes. So that's the pumpkins. And we also have coming up on October 24th, the Pumpkin Festival. Let's see if we have some pictures of the Pumpkin Festival. This actually is in Mount Holly, New Jersey, October 24th through 30th, Tuesday through Friday, and it's open from 4 in the afternoon to 10 at night. You have to see it at night because what has happened, a gentleman who is a contractor, I believe, this is his house, and his house, even with no decorations, looks like Herman Munster's house. It's great just as it is, a Victorian house. But what he has done was he has made benches around the house and put electric light bulbs on the benches, and then he cuts and carves with many volunteers that come from the community a whole series of pumpkins. Last year he did 700 pumpkins, and this year he's trying for 1,000. Are there any other pictures of the festival? There's lots of the pumpkin festivals. That's that 5 generations of pumpkins. They are raising pumpkins as well. The Mount Holly Pumpkin Festival, now go online and research it, but don't put MT for Mount. spell the word out, M-O-U-N-T, and it comes up, Mount Holly Pumpkin Festival, October 24th to 30th. It's right behind the jail in the Burlington County Jail, which is right off Rancocas Road. And it is actually sits on Clifton Avenue. And I understand there are other things for kids to do as well. All kinds of spooky trails and things to do to celebrate Halloween. The word jack-o'-lantern, once this pumpkin is carved, it is no longer a pumpkin. It is now a jack-o'-lantern. And it's an Irish and Scottish tradition that started because they carved turnips and pumpkins and made faces on them, and they put a candle in it to keep witches and warlocks and all their nasty superstitions of the time from getting their family. It kept them safe. And it actually began in the neighborhoods, and everybody had a pumpkin or a potato carved. We'll go, and here's our witch right here. You see her? She's going to be scared away by all these jack-o'-lanterns. So we have any more pumpkin pictures in there? Okay, we'll go back to the Mount Holly Pumpkin Festival. Let me show one more time. You've got to come out to Clifton Avenue in Mount Holly, New Jersey, right behind the Burlington County Courthouse and the prison. It's a little side street with a lot of Victorian homes, but this is the best one. And remember what our rule is, always have a secondary use. All those pumpkins, 700 of them last year, we loaded into our truck and took them home to our farm at Whitebriar, and we fed them to all the homeless animals, and boy did they enjoy that treat. So try to make it here to Whitebriar in Edgewater Park for the pumpkin tossing contest, which is always the second Saturday after Halloween, and also try to make it to the Mount Holly Pumpkin Festival, October 24th through the 30th. It's in the evening because you have to have it dark so you can see the lights and how spooky it is. 4 to 10 p.m. right there on Clifton Avenue in Mount Holly. Now don't go away. Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar will be back with Radio Vision Network. We want to talk about one of my animals who loves to eat pumpkins, and it's a donkey. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Today's show is sponsored by Hargrove Demolition, your demolition experts. Hargrove is a family-owned and operated business right here in the southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hargrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hargrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hargrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at purinabeyond.com.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your event.
Sub some sizzle.
Saving your business money is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Tanker Consulting Services, a payment solutions expert, will show you how with a free, detailed, written analysis illustrating your cost savings. We usually uncover savings between 10 and 25%, and sometimes more. We can help your business succeed by providing reliable and secure merchant payment solutions such as merchant services programs, point-of-sale systems, and ATM machines. TCS, one of the leaders in regional credit card processing consulting, offers electronic payments to merchants locally and nationwide through our preferred vendor programs. We work to keep business costs down with a comprehensive suite of quality products, services, and customized credit card processing programs exclusively tailored for your company. TCS is convenient, reliable, and innovative, with customer service available 24/7, 365 days a year. Our in-depth industry knowledge, partnership strategy, and innovative processing solutions allow for a specialized approach to providing merchant bank processing with 100% full fee disclosure. TCS is one-stop shopping for all your merchant services solutions. Our clients save money 100% of the time. Trust Tanker Consulting Services, the knowledgeable, professional, and friendly provider of secure payment services. We set the standard by which others are measured. Call now for a free written analysis. 609-922-0201.
Vision Work with Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar. I'm Carol Moore, also called Mrs. Whitebriar, and we're talking about donkeys today. And it's Halloween, and the pumpkin is my donkey's favorite food. Donkeys are a member of the horse family, and that family is called equine. You see, in science, we categorize everything, and under equine falls horse, donkey, pony, and zebra. And if you want to come and see a zebra, we have one of those over at our farm at Whitebriar as well. We have 2 female donkeys, and female donkeys are called jennies. So when we name our animals, we're not very original. We have one donkey, her name is Jenny, and we have her sister whose name is Dolores. Remember, all these animals were not bought new. These are all animals that we can call recycled. They were bought when they were cute and cuddly, but when they got big and stinky, nobody wanted them. And they bring them out to Moore's Home for Wayward Farm Animals here at Whitebriar, and we take care of them until they die of old age or natural causes. Their wild ancestor of the donkey came from Africa, but now, after 5,000 years worth of domestication, that means we took that wild donkey and we raised little baby donkeys until they knew us, until they became domesticated. They knew how to help us on our farms. There are 40 million donkeys in the world as we speak. Most of them are in third world countries. Now, a third world country would be one that really doesn't have a lot of electricity and a lot of television sets and a lot of things that we take for granted here in America. They would be farmers that barely made enough money to buy food or grow food for their families. And they're predominantly, donkeys are used for draft or pack animals. See the pack animals, here you go, you see them right here, and they are loaded down. Look at the size of those packs that are on top of those poor little donkeys. But donkeys are really, really strong. They can hold a whole bunch of weight without any property whatsoever. And the other good thing about donkeys is they can sustain themselves on practically nothing. When we had a donkey, oftentimes he would chew on our branches, he would chew on our tree bark, he would chew on my bushes. He would eat grass too, but predominantly if we threw rolls out in the backyard or old rotten tomatoes from the garden or old cantaloupes or melons and pumpkins, he would love those as well. But in more affluent countries, that means countries that are more wealthy, that are richer, that their children have donkeys as pets. And that's what we have. And Jenny and Dolores, our two female donkeys, are our pets. And they will get to live with us till they die of old age. But now they're very young. And so we wanted to have some more donkeys. So we bought what's called a spotted jack. A spotted jack is a donkey that has spots all over him, and he's a boy. A boy donkey is a jack. Remember, a girl donkey is a Jenny, and a boy donkey is a jack. And so our spotted jack has impregnated our two girls, and they will be having baby donkeys in the spring. So look forward to watching the camp show in March or April. If I can bring them in, I will do that for sure. Some people call donkeys an ass. S-A-S-S is definitely a term that can be used interchangeably, but I think donkey sounds better. Sometimes they use the male donkeys to breed them with horses to make a mule. A mule is an animal that until recently was not able to have babies, therefore you never got any baby mules, you just had big grown-up mules. They could not replicate themselves. Originally 3,000 years ago, the donkey was domesticated in Egypt, and it was called a beast of burden. However, during the Americas, when the prospectors for gold went out west, they took a donkey with them. Number one, he carried all their equipment. You know, shovels and picks, those are very, 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 very heavy indeed. And all the picks and shovels they would carry. But donkeys are also known for good companions. They are truly characters. When I open my front door, the donkeys across the street hear me and they hee-haw, 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 and the whole neighborhood knows I'm coming or going. And let's see, we have some more pictures. Let's see some more donkey pictures. Okay, now this is actually World War I in Italy, and they're actually carrying the wounded off of the field in World War I in Sicily. Donkeys from that part of the world are called Sicilian donkeys because of a particular marking. They have a cross on their back. The tradition for the cross across their back is that Jesus in the Bible is said to have his mother rode on a donkey when he was born in the Bethlehem in the stable, and that every donkey from that time has had a cross on his back to represent and to remind us of the Christian faith that Jesus died on a cross. And the Sardinians, the people in Sardinia, are very respectful to the Christian faith and the Catholic faith. So someone, oh, there we go. There's another two donkeys. Yes, indeed. And let's see another one. This is a close-up. This is our Jenny. Jenny has a dark face and big, see those big ears? Those ears can go 360 degrees. She just turns them. If you're talking in one direction, she'll go and turn her ears that way. If she hears a truck or a loud noise in another direction, her ears turn that direction. Behind her, you can see some of her other siblings in the field, the goats. See the goats there? We did baby goats one week on the show. Any more donkey pictures? And this is Dolores. Dolores is another one of our donkeys, and she has a white muzzle. Muzzle is around her mouth. And that is, with Dolores, is Candace, our vet tech. Candace is a great girl. She lives right in our back field. And lo and behold, she said, Mrs. Moore, I want to go back to school and become a nurse. I'm tired of having creatures not be able to tell me where it hurts. Candace is a vet tech, and the animals could never tell her, I have a boo-boo here, or I have a sore knee, or I have a sore elbow. Okay, so Candace is now a registered nurse, and we're very, very proud to have our vet tech. And she's famous with all the pictures that I show on TV here of her and the animals. Any other donkey pictures? Okay, there's another one. Oh, this is our spotted jack. Remember we talked about the spotted jack? We brought him in so that our two girls, Jenny and Dolores, could have babies. And this is the face that all donkeys, horses, mules, and let's see, zebras all make that face right before they go to mating. That means they're in the mood for making babies. And I thought that was really, really a funny picture. Okay. And here is one of the donkeys. In the wintertime, they get a very, very furry coat. Yes, indeed. 1 year Dolores got very sick because we didn't brush her and brush out the dead hair in the spring, and she started chewing at herself because dead hair tickles and itches, and she got some in her tummy, and she got all stuck up and clogged like constipated, and they had to operate on her, cut open her belly and take out a big chunk of hard mass that she now is a $5,000 donkey. So we don't recommend that. Most donkeys cost about $50, and we don't recommend that you take them to the vet and have all this work done unless you have an extra $5,000 laying around. And any more pictures of our donkeys? Oh yes, here you can see them again as pack animals. And saddles. Those are saddles on the animals. Yes, people ride donkeys. It's a good way of transportation. And again, in third world countries. That it on our pictures? Oh, here we go. Now you can see this was our first donkey. This is Jack. And you see how he has the kind of a white belly and light colored legs, but across his shoulders is a dark stripe. Can you see the dark stripe? That's the side rail of the cross. He's a Sardinian donkey from Sardinia, and they also have them in Sicily, 2 islands in Italy. And all of them are bred, and they come out with a cross across their shoulders to replicate the donkeys, the burros, the colt, as it's listed in the Bible, that Jesus' mother rode on right before she delivered him in the manger. Any more? Okay, and here you see some more. These are more soldiers using the animals as pack animals. So we have 10 different ways that you can use donkeys besides just having them as pets. My uncle Rudy Lick was his name, and he was in the American Army, and he was in the 10th Mountain Division, and they rode donkeys in Italy. And he always said there was nothing more stubborn than donkeys. Well, that's true. When a donkey doesn't want to do something, there's no talking him into it. And that's what we've done here. Talked about donkeys and our famous donkeys here. The stripe across the back, which is called the cross. They have very large ears. They're very sturdy footing. Donkeys, when the gold rush happened and you had to climb up mountains in order to dig holes to find the gold, they didn't take horses because horses step 1 foot wide when they walk. Donkeys walk toe in front of toe, and they could walk on the cliff edges without sliding off that horses would be able to do. Donkeys are loving, and they're very sure-footed, and they're wonderful personalities, and if you get an opportunity to own a donkey, get one. It's really, really fun. So that's our animal for today. Anytime you want to stop by at Whitebriar, at the Dunks Ferry Inn, where all the animals live here at Moore's Home for Wayward Farm Animals in Edgewater Park, right on Cooper Street in Edgewater Park, pull in. We'll be happy to give you an animal tour. And if you have any extra pumpkins, save them for the second Saturday after Halloween. And we'll have our pumpkin toss contest as well for accuracy and for distance. And you do get prizes. And we look forward to seeing you next time on Radio Vision Network. This is Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar. And we're signing off now. And we'll talk to you next time. Have a great week.
Today's show is sponsored by Hargrove Demolition, your demolition experts. Hargrove is a family-owned and operated business right here in the southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hargrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hargrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hargrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at purinabeyond.com.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels,